Hello, guys. Welcome to Speaking English podcast. I'm your host, Bella. I'm here to help you to improve your English listening and gain a new perspective of the world. Every episode, I share with you motivating stories and fascinating facts about our planet, different countries and cultures, human brain and emotions. Here we talk about happiness, love, and friendship. This is not just a language podcast. It is a podcast about life, beautiful itself. Welcome back, friends. I'm happy you are here today. I hope you are feeling great and ready to practice your English listening skills. Don't worry if you don't understand every word. Keep listening. You're doing an awesome job. Just continue filling up your brain with English. And one day, believe me, it will happen. One day, your brain will give you that English back. So let's be patient, regular, and the most important, please let's enjoy the process of learning. Of course, I do want you to see your progress. But at the same time, I really want you to be free from stress and negative feelings when you practice or study. Remember, you are doing it not because you have to, but because you want to, because it makes you happy. The minute you start working on your English, you already won. You did the hardest thing. You overcame yourself. There is a beautiful statement written by famous King Solomon, known for his wisdom. It says, "The one controlling his temper is better than the one conquering the city." To control the temper means to rule over the spirit. As you can understand, it talks about self-control. Self-control is a sign of strength. Therefore, if you are able to control yourself and organize yourself to do things that are challenging, you have got a strong personality, which I think is awesome. So today we are going to spend our 15 minutes together talking about Australia. Surprised? I think so. Why Australia? I will tell you why. Let's begin. Recently my friend asked me, "Have you ever been to Australia?" I said, "No, I've never been to." And then she's like, "Perfect, we should go there." And she really made me think. How come I've never visited this country? Honestly, I've never even thought of going there. I'm not sure why. Well, maybe the part of the reason is that it's so far. It's really, really far away land. Seriously, guys, it's a whole another continent. Can you just imagine that the country Australia is the very continent of Australia? How cool is that? Which makes me think, what do I know about Australia? Really, not much. Maybe that's why there is no burning desire to go and explore the place. So, in this episode, I invite you all to discover some amazing facts about this mysterious but beautiful and unique place called Australia. First, I want to ask you, my listeners, what comes to your mind when you think of Australia? Kangaroos, crocodiles, beautiful beaches, or maybe famous Australian actors such as Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman? Or maybe the best winter boots called Uggs. Yeah, you see, it's already getting interesting. I'm so excited we can talk about this today. Before we start, I just wanted to make it clear that because I've never been to Australia myself and I'm not Australian, so this information is based on what you can find in internet if you Google Australia. So now let me share with you what I read about the history of Australia. It's all started in Britain. Yes, the history of Australia has a lot to do with British Empire. Very important but pretty sad historical fact. Did you know that Australia was like a prison, but like a big prison for Britain for about 100 years? 18th century Britain went through social changes that led to an increase in crime, which was often a result of poverty. In order to deal with this crime, authorities introduced harsh laws and penalties, including the death penalty, even for smallest theft, even for young boys and girls. Early in the 18th century, however, it was changed, so that allowed the death sentence to be replaced with transportation to Britain's colonies in North America. This is how, in time, some 1,000 convicts a year were being shipped away. At first, mainly to Virginia and Maryland, but when the colonies became independent from Britain in 1776, everything changed again. Now it became legally impossible to send the prisoners from England to America. What happened next? Explorer Captain James Cook solved this problem for Britain. In 1786, Captain Cook discovered a new continent that he called New Holland, which we know was Australia. And British government quickly realized that this is a perfect way to fix the problem with this 1,000 of so-called criminals. Australia was going to be their new prison. The whole story is really sad. We don't even know how many people died on the way to Australia, how many shipwrecks happened in the ocean, how many people died because of the terrible diseases that were so common on those ships. Some people don't really want to talk about this story, and it doesn't sound very positive, I agree. But it's a true historical fact, and it happened. But honestly, this is a fact that I didn't really enjoy about Australia. It's a very ugly reality. Although it's not pleasant to remember, but I'm glad that there are people who talk about this and that we can read about it. It's definitely a good reminder for us that as a mankind, we have made so many mistakes during our history. It's really a shame. And we need to learn our lesson. Human life is priceless. No one has a right to take it. If you want to learn more about this period we are talking about, do your research. I'm sure it will touch your heart. It's called the Convict Era. Now, I have more positive facts to share. Let's start with the name Australia. It comes from the Latin word australis, meaning southern. Way back in the 2nd century, there were legends of mysterious terra australis, incognita or unknown southern land. Many of you know, guys, that Sydney is the largest city, but it's not the capital. Did you know that Canberra was selected as the capital just because Sydney and Melbourne could not stop arguing which city should be the capital? Do you think Australia never gets snow? Well, it will surprise you. There is this area in Australia that is covered by snow in winter, and this area is larger than the area of Switzerland. Despite the stereotypes of hot, sunny weather, the Australian Alps, which are the highest mountain range, they are bigger and they get more snow than the Swiss Alps do. There are around 200 different types of nationalities and cultures in Australia, and it makes it one of the most multicultural nations in the world. For example, the largest Greek population in the world, besides Athens in Greece, can be found in Melbourne, Victoria. Australia has the second highest Human Development Index. This index measures various things such as equality, lifespan, welfare, and Australia comes in at second place just after Norway. Okay, this next fact is a really cute one. Australia has 3 times more sheep than people. There are more than 150 million sheep in Australia and only about 23 million people. So that's around 8 sheep for every person. By the way, speaking about animals, some of the world's deadliest animals live here. Yes, Australia is home for the deadliest spider, the deadliest snake, the deadliest octopus, the deadliest fish, and so on. But despite this, very few people are actually killed by these highly dangerous animals. What's wonderful is that there are so many different types of species in Australia that only 25% of them have been discovered and are known to humans. It means that 75% of the species are totally undiscovered yet. By the way, do you know that Australia is home to the longest fence in the world? Originally, the fence was built to keep the famous Australian dogs, dingoes, away. So the fence is now about 5,600 kilometers long. That's pretty cool. Next interesting fact, and especially close to my heart, there are 60 designated wine regions in Australia, producing about 1.5 trillion bottles of wine every year. Surprising. I guess not many of us knew that not only France and Spain are good winemaking countries. Next time I'm in the store, I'll look for an Australian bottle of this red drink. Remember those Ugg boots I mentioned in the beginning? So these are popular winter footwear, and they're made from sheepskin and originated in Australia. So thank you, Australia, for these Uggs. They are awesome. The largest producer of gold in the world is also located in Australia. Rather than being found in one of the large cities, its home is a small town named Kalgoorlie. Next fact is that one of the things that Australia is most famous for is its stunning beaches. There are literally thousands of miles of coastline around this huge country. But how many beaches can be found here? What do you think? Guess how many? 2,000? 5,000? 7.5 maybe? Thousand? Ready? 10,000 beaches, guys. 10,000. I think that's a lot. So if you counted, it would take 27 years to visit a new beach every day. I hope you learned something new today with me. I definitely did. Now I think I would love to go to Australia and see that place with my own eyes. I encourage you to read about this country more. And please let me know if you learn more facts about these beautiful countries, something that wasn't mentioned today. And feel free to share. And it brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear your feedback, guys. I'm sure you too have a story to share. Please feel free to email me to learnwithbella@gmail.com. Thanks for being here with me today. It has been a pleasure. I'm your host, Bella. Take a good care, speak English, and make sure to come back. Bye.